Hello everyone, welcome to the Synergy Market Talk. This is the August 2025 edition. My name is Terrence.
My name is Heaven.
And we are the Synergy Real Estate team. For this month, Ibrahim's got another commitment, so we're going to be covering the Market Talk this month. We're going to talk about this month's stats as well as provide some insight so you can figure out through us how to maneuver this market. Obviously, we've continued to see a lot of changes, challenges, differing economic environment as well as the market continues to shift each season as it goes by. So I'm going to start off with the market stats and then we'll talk a little bit more and delve in from there. So sales were up 2.3% year over year. We had 5,211 transactions last month. New listings were up 14,038 new listings, up 9.4% year over year. So that one is one to watch on, and we'll definitely touch on it. Average price was actually down year over year, 5.2% to $1,022,143. The home price index benchmark, which is the amount I just gave you, down 5.2%. Average days on market, 33 listing days on market and 49 cumulative. So if people relisted the same listing, it ended up taking 49 days to sell. The sales to new listings ratio is 37.2%. So we are firmly now in buyer's market territory. So we'll break these numbers down a little bit. Total residential transactions, Heaven, were up 2.3% year over year. What do you think about that?
Sorry, total residential
transactions, yeah. So we saw 5,211 transactions, which was up from last year. So that means there's more activity in the market.
There's more activity. I think, well, even on my end, like with our buyers, people are starting to understand what's going on with the market, and it's just traditional what happens in the market. As people see other people doing one thing, everyone else is going to follow suit. Once somebody purchases a property and there's no crazy there's no crazy scenarios that happen, then more buyer confidence tends to happen, and that's what's going to increase the overall buyer activity. And the market's been kind of the same over the past few months / years, so yeah, you can kind of predict what's going on with the market, especially on the buyer side.
Right. I think what's happening is people are just also becoming comfortable with the status quo.
Yeah.
That's what I'm noticing. I don't hear this tariff talk as much anymore.
Yeah.
I don't hear about the economic uncertainty. More so what I'm hearing is, people want to get into the market. They want to know if what they're getting is a good deal. And to be honest with you, now sellers have adjusted their expectations as time goes on to realize, look, I'm not going to be getting maybe top dollar for my home. I'm going to get reasonable fair market value.
Yeah.
And that ties into the next statistic where we saw prices drop 5.2% year over year. So people are seeing prices have come down now, right? We have a clear indication down 5%. That's not a small number anymore. Before we were around 0.5, 1%. We were kind of just dabbling with it, but now we're down 5%, clearly year over year. So people know there's an opportunity now. Buyers are aware of that. They know they can put conditions in their offers, and sellers are more receptive to those offers and those conditions.
And mind you, this is 5.2% for the overall market. So that's including the condo market, townhouse market, detached market, right? So
down 5.2%.
Down, exactly, down 5.2%.
Yes, that's a good point. Very good point there. And then as we tend to look at the other statistics here, listings up. 14,000 new listings. That is huge, like almost 10% increase from where we were last year. What do you think about that? Sellers coming onto the market in big numbers.
I think it was the same thing as last time. I think just a lot of people were holding on for a long time, and it's a mix of, it's not just panic sellers, but it's also a mix of pre-construction units closing. It's a mix of just sellers simply wanting to upsize, right? Because right now it's the market where you have tons of inventory. So people who are looking to buy, they can pick from. It's basically the exact same thing. They have more choice. It's basically the exact same thing from the previous market talks. You're just getting more and more inventory.
Agreed. However, I think like now we're in the double digits, right? 14% new listings, and we're up 22.4% year over year in terms of active listings.
Yeah,
So we
yeah.
have 14%.
14,000 new listings, not
14,000
percentage.
new listings.
Yeah.
14,000 new listings, but we're up
9.44%.
9.4%.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But 22.4% increase year over year in terms of active listings.
Yeah, yeah.
Meaning there were 14,000 new listings, but there was already an existing 8,000 listings.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Which is insane.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Sorry. I my apologies. I didn't say it's not 22,000. 22% increase in active listings. Okay, so when you add those 14,000 new listings, active listings today are up 1/5 compared to last year. So that's huge. I mean, buyers have more leverage, more choice. That's been the theme the last few months. So I don't think there's a better time to buy. You can be more picky. You can choose what you're looking for. Despite more inventory and price declines, affordability is still out of reach, even with slight rate drops. Right? That's the theme we're seeing. Right? A lot of people are saying, why are these condos, even after the prices have come down, why are they not being scooped up by buyers? Well, if you think about it, even still an entry-level condo, 550,000, let's call it, you still need $110,000 to qualify. If you're putting 5% down, you need even more than that, right?
So $110,000 meaning the income. The household income has to be 110K.
And that's if you're putting like almost 20% down, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if people say, oh, you can buy with 5 or 10% down, but still affordability is an issue because wages and income need to qualify for these kind of purchases.
And then your credit, all of those things, they go into factor too. But the thing is, you can actually get condominiums in the low 400s right now, which I haven't seen in a very long time.
Mid 400s for a good decent
For a good
condo.
decent one, yeah. But low 400s if you're looking just for like a absolute starter, 1 bedroom. If you want to get a bachelor, which I wouldn't recommend buying, you can get those in the high 3s, but don't buy a bachelor.
Don't buy a studio unit. I mean, those are the ones, the smaller units are suffering in this market, right? The bigger units are still moving when it comes to condos.
Exactly.
Month over month, the average price, which I mentioned earlier, $1,022,143, so $1,022,143 is pretty similar month over month. So compared to last month and this month, the price is very similar. So we might be at a floor here, right? Like the prices are still staying stagnant month over month. We might be near a price floor, but we never know. We might have to wait a little bit more. Watch the next few quarters to see where prices go. If this is the bottom, or if the next few incoming predicted rate cuts do anything to the market, or any other factors for that matter. 416 condo prices down 2% year over year, and 905 condo prices up 1% year over year. So negligible, negligible. I mean, I don't think I want to write a story on what's happening with just those two statistics. I think sales volumes are down 5.1% overall for condos, but we are getting into that territory where things are becoming more affordable for the first-time home buyers. So when I say 550, 500 still being out of reach, it's still more in reach than it was. And like Kevin mentioned, condos starting to come into the 450 range, much more reachable than they ever were, right? So I think overall we're starting to see things are becoming more affordable in the condo sector. However, condo apartment sales are down 20.9% compared to last year. So we had 20% less sales in 2025 than we did in 2024. That is the continued theme in the condo market, right? Things continue to be slow there.
So I want to just add my 2 cents to that. Just I would say that the condo market, the overall sales in the condo have dropped quite a bit. Main reason for that is whoever was in the market for a condo can now afford a townhouse. So more people are
that's a good point,
going towards the townhouse, because honestly, you can get townhouses in the 600s now. I actually got a freehold 3-bed 2-bath townhouse, 2 full bath townhouse with a finished basement,
680, right?
Yes, $680,000 in the heart of Brampton, and it had a large backyard that backed into a park. Like something like that would have went for in the mid to high 700s at the height of the market, maybe even the 800s to be
More,
honest.
yeah, possibly.
Right?
Yeah,
And it's
I would
once again,
agree.
this is freehold. This is
Yeah.
no maintenance fees. You can paint the outside of the house. You can paint the inside.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want to the
What
house.
buyer's
Right?
going to do. So,
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, it's a good point, Evan. Like people's budget before, if they had a pre-approval for 700,000, that might have been a 2-bed condo. Now it's
Yeah.
a freehold townhouse.
Now it's a
right?
freehold townhouse, exactly.
That's true. And I mean, I think people are a little spooked by what's happening with the condo market. So,
yeah.
and the stability of the freehold market also draws a bit more attraction to some
Mm-hmm.
people, especially because some people are thinking, I don't want to move 2 times. Like, I'd rather just get to the freehold sector if I can make that jump and buy once and for all.
And even with me personally, with my buyers, a lot of people are opting out of condo fees now. Like the people
Yeah.
are just pushing
Turned
for
off
the
by them.
freehold. Exactly.
Yeah, they're turned off by them.
Exactly.
Okay, continuing on the condo market watch here. Prices down 5.9% year over year. New listings up 0.6% year over year. And so what does that tell us? I mean, year over year, prices are down, not surprised there. And new listings are up 0.6% year over year. I mean, not much to say from that other than to say, I mean, there continues to be new listings coming on at the same level that they were last year. Condo market story looks like it will continue to be that way for the next little while. As we know, I mean, most investors are the ones holding condos. And rents right now, I mean, let's talk about rents for a second. They were going down for
They're
a
starting to
good
go back
amount,
up, yeah.
and they're starting to stabilize. I don't know if I'd say they're going up per se. Like, I think
They've kind of
they're stabilizing.
They went up and they stayed there. Yeah, yeah.
They came down.
Yes.
And then now they're steady.
Yes.
We haven't seen enough time go by yet to say they're going up, but they're starting to become stronger. Mind
Yes.
you, that time of period where people are looking for properties, August, September, we've seen multiple offers on leases. We've seen price increases on like units leasing out for higher than their asking price. Mind you, I've even seen like some offer dates happen on downtown leases, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
people are getting confident with the leasing again. But overall, I think it's also to say, you know, rent prices are stabilizing again.
Yeah.
Which
And
will
just,
help the
and just to
condo
add on to the leases, it's still the 3-bed, 2-bath minimum townhouses that are the hottest commodity right now in terms of leases. That's what everybody wants, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're
Because
the leasing expert on our team, so
yes.
you know.
So the 3-bed, 2-bath townhouses, if you're investing into one, you can get that rented out ASAP. But the condominiums, especially the 1-bed condos, or the 1+ dens are the ones that are kind of struggling, or the 2-bedroom, or even the 2-bedroom condominiums are struggling. But the 3-bed, 2-bath townhouse, or just the 1-bed, 1-bath, those are still flying off the shelves.
Okay, good to know. Great input there, Evan. Excuse me. Year over year days on market in the condo market, we're up 31%. Okay, so I mean, no surprise there. Things are taking longer to sell. Circling back now to talk about rental stats, year over year, total apartment rentals were up 16.6%. So that's a significant shift to show that, you know, rentals are becoming popular and trending upwards. 1-bedroom apartment rent year over year, 5.1% down. I mean, I wouldn't read too much into that. 5%, yes and no. It's a little. I mean, let's see what happens over the next couple of months. But we've personally seen bigger condo units, and even the 1-beds downtown are pretty strong. But you know, in other markets, this is overall we're talking. Maybe overall them being down, it does make sense.
The bigger condo units, especially in the GTA, they're the ones that are struggling, because if you're going to be paying that much rent for a 3-bed condo, like for an extra $100, $200, you can get the 3-bed, 2-bath townhouse that I was talking about, right? And you get an additional parking spot too.
And that's it. Total new listings year over year, 16.5% up. So, I mean, rental listings have increased since last year, but I feel like that is being met pretty decently with the demand we're seeing on the ground with what's happening with the offers. So let's go down into the average prices in each segment. Detached in the GTA is sitting at 1,312,240, down 10% year over year. Townhomes GTA, $980,102, down 6.9% year over year. Semis, 1,131,498, down 4.9% year over year. So, I mean, all segments were down in the freehold sector. And I mean, like I said earlier, overall, our prices were down 5.2%. So each segment balancing each other out there and bringing us down to an overall 5.2% year over year price decline. So I think really the story, interestingly enough, there is prices are starting to come down, right? Like, I think this is a clear indication. If you had bought a home last year, freehold sector, that home is probably worth a little bit less this year, right?
But like anything with real estate, you're not buying to
You're
sell
not buying
the next
for the year.
Yeah.
You're not buying for the year. And to be honest with you, I don't know how much lower prices can really go. Like I think there's support here. We're starting to see demand pick up slowly. Transaction counts were up last month. So I think people are starting to smell the roses now. They think the opportunity is there. I think they see the light at the end of this tunnel. So I personally think we're at the bottom. We're very close to it. But at the same time, like you're not buying for the next year or the year after that. You're in this asset for the long term. If you're pre-approved, right now is the time to buy.
But I do feel like the condo market can soften a little bit more.
Oh yeah, the condo market. Yeah, we're talking
yeah.
about freehold right now.
Yeah.
But
That's
condo market,
the freehold, yes.
Yeah, condo market, I think we've got a little time to go until that supply is absorbed, and that'll take time. But I think people are attracted and there's demand for freehold. So let's talk a little bit more about what's going on in the economy. Right now, the Bank of Canada rate is being held steady. So prime is sitting, it's holding steady at 5%, right? Prime rate is 7.2%. So for those who don't know, like just a refresher, the overnight rate sitting at 5%, the prime rate sitting at 7.2%. That's usually the bank's margin on whatever they're lending on. And inflation has softened to 2.3%. Unemployment, 5.2%. Relatively stable, but that has ticked up from what I read. I mean, we're at the highest since COVID times, so still a little bit tricky with that. Outlook right now is with inflation under control. There's growing optimism for a rate cut closer to year end. I've heard that.
I've heard about
thing.
the rate cuts too.
I've heard they're coming, but I heard it's going to be a slow and steady. So like maybe a quarter point at the next few meetings. Personally, I think the Bank of Canada waited a little bit too long because what we're seeing is we don't have a deal on tariffs now. We're starting to see some stimulus come in. We're starting to see the government react. Probably the bank, I think, is personally reacting a little too late because unemployment is ticking up now. Now they've realized they have to do something. But that's the bank typically. They're late. They're more reactionary than proactive. So I think the cuts are coming. Is it enough to like really drastically change anything that's going on in the housing market? I don't think so. I think we're going to be status quo. This is normal market dynamic, and I think we'll start to see that continue into the new year.
The average rates are still they're still hovering around the 4s.
4%.
But I think it was Scotiabank. They had that deal that happened, or still happening.
Yeah, they did
Scotiabank. 3.6%. So that same $680,000 freehold townhouse in Brampton that we got, the client locked up that 3.6% deal, and it's a 3-year fix too.
Yeah, it's a good
rate. That's a really good rate, especially in this market.
I mean, banks, I think they're starting to adjust their rates also according to what their desires are with their portfolios, right? So obviously, Scotiabank wants to take a little bit more market share in the mortgage space, so they just put out this special, and obviously they're going to get that demand there, right? Going into specifics in terms of the regions here, Toronto Central highest average condo price was $840,000. Durham region, we're starting to see strong price stability, especially in Pickering and Whitby. And in York region, lower sales volume, but resilient pricing in Markham and Vaughan. So I think I would agree with that, with what I'm seeing on the ground here. Like the average condo price at 840 in Toronto. What do we think about that? I think that's obviously down considerably from where it probably was. Durham region, where I'm local in Pickering and Whitby, I agree. Like we have good price stability because you know what, you're gonna get more value in our region for what you're buying, right? Detached home, you're gonna get a backyard, you're gonna get a big driveway, all of those things you can even get a freehold detached under $1 million in Durham. So I think people are continuing to see the value there, which makes sense why the price stability is there. York region, lower sales volume, but resilient pricing in Markham and Vaughan.
Yeah.
Markham and Vaughan will always be the stronghold.
There's deeper pockets in Markham and Vaughan, and the market's not as reactionary as Scarborough and Pickering and Ajax, right? So,
and I mean, traditionally those have been strong markets, and they will continue to be, I think, right?
Exactly.
No surprise there. If we go into the next segment of our call, typically we usually have advice for sellers and buyers, Heaven. I'll drop a little bit about what my input is on the selling side, with continue to take on more new listings and continue to sell my existing listings. What I've seen is I've noticed more activity on my listings. The ones that maybe were a little slow to start ended up selling. The ones that were in good condition right from the beginning, move-in ready in Pickering, that delivered a lot of value, got snatched up pretty quickly. I have one listing. We have that listing out in Ashburn, which is just north of Brooklyn.
90-70.
Typical, right? Like, it's a little bit more north of the city. It's going to take a specific target buyer for us to sell that property. And we just went sold conditional yesterday. Yes. Fingers crossed that one firms up. But, things are moving. That's what I'm seeing. Yeah. Things are moving. Makes sense with the statistics that sales were up. I'm starting to see our team contribute to those sales because things are moving. So I think it comes down to pricing.
Yes.
Price correctly and reasonably and at fair market value, and you will sell.
And it also comes down to the listing agent has to put in more work now compared to the previous market where it's not, you can't just put up the sign and stage the property and expect it to sell. Obviously, the price goes a long way, but now you're finding, like, even on the buyer side, because I do more of the I represent more of the buyers. Almost every single good agent that we show their property, they'll call you back with the same day. They ask you for your feedback. They'll try to get you to put in an offer, right? So previously, that wasn't happening. Like, the listing agent is not calling you. If anything, it's hard to get a hold of the listing agent because they have so many people calling them. Now the listing agent is calling you. They'll message you every day just to see if your client's still interested or not, right? So
and why is the listing agent taking that feedback? Because they want to improve things on the listing to get it sold, right? So we have to work harder in today's market. So it's especially important you hire the right agent that understands that the dynamics are challenging in this market and knows how to maneuver through them. So, I mean, we've sold most of our listings, which is great. There are some challenging ones that we're going to work through, but not just sitting on the listing, right? Pricing it correctly, doing the great marketing and photos and videos and everything that you need at the beginning, but then keeping a thumb on the pulse and, changing the price, terminating the listing and relisting it, whatever you're doing, making sure you're on top of it. I definitely know we're doing that on our team. Yeah. And so you want to make sure your agent's doing that for you too. The other thing, last part I'll touch on with sellers, I take recent comps. Yes, there's not as many comps as there used to be because there's fewer transactions than there were 2 years ago, or 3 years ago rather. Actually 4 years ago now, right? Like, time is moving so quickly that I can't even reference right. But point is, I'm taking listings from 30 days ago, so I'm keeping pricing realistic with my sellers so that we can agree on a realistic price and so that we can make sure we sell. For buyers, Evan, I know you touched on it shortly. I know you just did a couple of purchases. What do you find your buyers are doing, right? Are they rushing in? Are they being patient? How much flexibility do you see with offers? Like, do you want to touch on that?
Yeah, I feel like the process is taking a little bit longer now on the buyer side because of the influx of inventory, buyers had to take more time to go through all the properties, because now that they have more options, it's another challenge now, right? Because now you're like, okay, should I buy this house or this house, right?
It's a good problem.
It's a good problem,
but it's also, you know, analysis paralysis.
Exactly, analysis paralysis, and then you know you want to make sure you get the right area. Now you're looking into schools, and there's more things that buyers are more picky, right?
Yeah, and they know they have a bit of time. You know,
exactly.
they're not rushed.
Exactly.
They're being patient,
exactly.
and they're definitely taking that time.
Exactly. And every single offer I've put so far, 5-day financing clause, home inspection, and the listing agents are happy with the financing, with all the conditions. Where previously the listing agent would be like, hey, listen, you got to remove these conditions if you even want a chance. But now it's like you can stack up all the conditions, and listing agents are just happy just to even get the offer now, which is good. On our end, right?
Yes. And they're willing to work with you. Like, I mean, I will try to work with every offer that comes by. I mean, it's my job too for my seller, but it's our job to get the deal done at the end of the day for our buyer client or our seller client, right? So
exactly.
we're doing our best on that front.
Yes.
The other thing is you know, just as much as you can wait, right? Leverage your pre-approval, so you know you're not as pressured on the financing condition, and move quickly on a well-priced turnkey home. Like, it's interesting though, with Ashburn, we sell it, and then I get 2 or 3
now you
calls
get the offers, yes,
saying, oh, you know, I was told to keep an eye on that one, you know, we wish we knew. And I have another agent being like, oh yeah, we don't want to do multiples, but you know, keep me posted on how that offer goes. So it's funny because there's interest from the sidelines.
Yes.
But I'm telling these agents, you know, if your buyer's interested, put it on paper, put it at the price they're willing to pay, and don't wait. Scoop it up if you think it's a deal at that price. But why are you waiting for it to sell conditional?
Yeah.
And then at that point, hoping that you're going to have some sort of chance, because you're going to be in more competition than you would have been. You would have been just one-on-one with the seller.
And that's where it's important to call back all the showings, because you don't know who's watching it from the sidelines, right?
Yeah, a lot of people are. And that's one thing I learned on this last listing we sold. Okay, so going into wrapping it up here, I mean, what's our last point for like the foreseeable future? I would say, look, we're going to have a few cuts possibly coming. I don't know what the full impact of those cuts are, but we are seeing activity pick up because sales are up. We're seeing prices are stable in some regions and going down overall. So that means the opportunity's there. I would say if you find the home you like, don't wait, put in an offer, negotiate one-on-one if you can, because that's when you're going to get the best deal, and don't wait too long. I mean, I know a friend recently was waiting in Pickering, trying to work a deal out with this one seller. They wouldn't budge. They saw this home come out. They thought it was underpriced. Basically, triple car garage, 2-story home, 3,500 square feet. They scooped it for 1.55.
Wow.
Couple days in on the market, 4 days on the market. Why? Sometimes people have this weird analogy, oh, let me wait 90 to 100 days to negotiate. You know what? If you know it's underpriced, or you know it's a good deal and it works for you, just go in there and scoop it up. Because you know what? Somebody else might see that same value, and then now you're in competition, right? So that person, they did that, and I believe they got a great deal.
Yeah.
Everyone they spoke to after the fact thinks they got a good deal. And I'm not saying rush and jump into it, but they also had conditions, but they put it on paper. They got a deal done that they thought was in their best interest. And you know what? I personally think it worked out for them. So that's my closing off tip.
For the most part, you're not going to get into a bidding war situation. But once again, if it's a beautiful house and it's well priced, more than likely, if you think the house is beautiful, somebody else is going to think the house is beautiful as well. And all it takes for you is to put in your offer. And with the realtor system, once you put in an offer, once they register the offer, every single realtor that has scheduled a showing for that property gets a notification that now there's an offer, and that's when the pressure gets applied, right? So that's why it's good to be quick when it comes to properties like that. But obviously, if you're buying like a regular property and you know you're going to do your own renovations, then you don't need to worry about things like that. But yeah, the nicer homes, you have to think about moving quickly.
Yeah, and with the exception of the ones that, you know, have an offer date or something.
Yeah.
But, you know, if it's move-in ready, you know, there's going to be demand for it. Like, if you saw it first, why wait? You know, put the offer in and see if you can get it at a reasonable price compared to the comps, right? Do your due diligence and then jump on it. Let's see what these rate cuts do come this fall, right? We'll see if we're going to be sitting at a different position in the winter. I don't think so for the condo market, but maybe there's going to be more demand on the freehold side. That's all for now from the Synergy Real Estate team for the August Market Talk. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next month.
Take care.